Alex caught out the back with another car review, but mechanic's perspective side of things. That's how I like to give car reviews. If you want a normal car review, I drive and ride and the amenities, I'm not the channel for that. I'm here to let you know if this is a reliable car and if I would put my daughter in this vehicle. Jumping right into it, I'm gonna pop the hood. This is a 09 Chevy Malibu. Very popular car, by the way. I see a lot of them. People love them for some odd reason. Let me go grab a stick because the hood shock went out. Common problem. I guess I'm kicking it off with a hood shock. Simple, but common problem. So if you have a Malibu, you may want to replace your hood shock because they go out all the time. All right, on this Malibu, this particular Malibu is the 3.5. This Malibu comes in 3 different types of engines. You have the 2.4, which is notorious for timing chain issues. I don't suggest that one. You have the 3.5, which by far is one of my favorite GM engines. I'm gonna get more into this particular engine. Then you have the 3.6, which is notorious for timing chain issues as well, but costs so much more to repair. Don't recommend that one either. Now on this particular one, the most common problems we can find, which I see in my shop, is, I'm just gonna say it, valve cover gaskets. Valve cover gaskets will leak and you will have issues there. No big deal. Power steering pumps. GM, I don't know what it is about GM, but the power steering pumps like to go out, and while I'm speaking about power steering pumps, the rack and pinions. Rack and pinions like to leak on these vehicles. That's kind of an expensive repair. The next thing I think I want to talk about, if you don't take care of your coolant on this particular engine, the head gaskets will deteriorate. I have seen that happen before. Just blow a head gasket out of nowhere. That's the downside about this engine. It's very simple to maintain.
Question for people like me. What do you mean take care of your coolant? How can one take care of coolant?
You're supposed to change out your coolant with the recommended intervals. Normally the intervals are between 100 to 150,000 miles or every 5 years. This depends on what type of coolant this vehicle take. I don't know the specific coolant. It may say it right here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that today, but
I'll look it up and put it on the screen.
Okay. Like with all things, you want to just maintain your car. People neglect their vehicles so much, they don't even maintain the tune-up on the vehicles. If you don't maintain the tune-up, I see this all the time, you go without changing your spark plugs, it will send unburnt fuel down the exhaust, destroying your catalytic converter, which is an expensive repair. The next thing I want to talk about is transmissions. These transmissions has a tendency to go. Not the transmission fault by any means. It's just negligence. That's the most neglected thing I see as an automotive technician. People don't change their fluid. People change their oil every 3,000 to 6,000 miles, but they don't change their transmission fluid within the recommended interval. I say the rule of thumb is 30,000 miles. Every 30,000 miles, you should be changing your transmission fluid. It's like oil. If you don't change your engine oil, guess what's gonna happen? Your engine's gonna go out. Same thing with the transmission. So people, really, this is a really good engine. All I'm naming here is stuff that's been caused by neglect so far. You know, what's some of the things I named so far?
You said valve cover gaskets deteriorate. You said head gaskets will go out just out of nowhere if you don't take care of the coolant. Power steering issues with the rack and pinion and leaking like that. Tune up. Could you expound for everybody don't know what tune up is?
Okay. Tune up on this particular car consists of spark plug wires and spark plugs.
So this one has wires like old school and not coil packs like new school.
Yep.
Okay.
And good people, it's also a good idea to change out your power steering fluid too. If it's kind of dark colored like that, it'll be a good idea to give that a flush. I think that pretty much wraps it up on the engine. There's one last thing I want to talk about we'll just go out at random, is the purge valve. These GM purge valves, I change a lot of them, And when they go out, they'll call system to lean codes, they'll cause evap codes, things like that, and sometimes make the car run a little funny at idle. I think that wraps it up on the engine side of things. Next thing I want to talk about that will just go out random, it's just another GM thing. GM is General Motors, Chevy, Saturn, Pontiac, and on down the road. The fuel pumps. Fuel pumps on these vehicles will go out at random, unfortunately. I think it can be prevented by keeping fuel in your car. So let's pretend this is the bottom of the fuel tank. Your fuel pump sits at the bottom of your fuel tank, pulling fuel from the bottom and sending it to the engine. What people like to do, they like to run their car low on gas. And when it runs low on gas, you're leaving the fuel pump not surrounded by fuel. When the fuel pump is surrounded by fuel, it keeps it cool. Motors, the electric engines like to stay cool. If you can keep that motor cool, it will last a long time. So if you're constantly riding around on E, think twice, good people. You're gonna be burning up your fuel pump. So just another little tip out there I can just throw out there for you. What else I need to touch on this vehicle? It's not much. Would I drive this and buy this for my daughter? Recommend it? Yes, I would. This is a very good engine. When I normally talk about cars, I'm talking about the engine. I'm not talking about the car specifically. The engine.
What would you say to someone who already owns this car about changing the transmission fluid? Because sometimes if they just say they just bought this used car, and most of you know I'm Alex's wife Sean, and I flip cars, and this is one of my flips. Say someone buys this car, transmission fluid has never been touched.
I would say do a drain and fill. I'd never suggest a flush. Flushing the transmission, it never works out. Done this so many times in the past, and customer come back, or my friend, I don't flush their transmission on, and transmission go completely out. Every time I do a drain and fill, it's a lot safer, no problems. Unless you already got mechanical issues with the transmission, then we're talking about a whole nother thing. But as far as preventive maintenance, if it has high miles and it never been touched, just do a drain and fill on it.
Okay, so good economy car.
Yes.
Parts are affordable. Would you recommend consumer buy this vehicle?
Highly recommend a consumer buy this vehicle with this particular engine.
3.5.
The 2.4, I got a video on that. I'll post it in the link.
The description. Yeah.
I'm just strictly talking about the 2.4. The great thing about General Motors is they like to use the same engine on a wide variety of vehicles. So you can find this engine in your some vans. My brain just drew a blank.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll
You can find them in a wide variety of cars. And I don't think I'm missing anything else. I think that's about it. Quick video about mechanic perspective. Just show you
there's some people that may own the car, so comment below, guys. If you have this car and you think Alex left out something, put in below what your issues with the car.
Transmission.
That's what everybody gonna say that?
Yeah, I think so. I got a feeling. I'm having transmission issues. Because you're not changing your fluid. That's not the car's fault. But quick video letting you know that, hey, this car don't have many problems. This engine doesn't have many problems. Alex the Car Doctor, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Like always, see you guys on the next video.